When the United States Navy laid down a brand new heavy cruiser in 1941, she was originally to be called the USS Pittsburgh. But after the loss of the HMAS Canberra during the Battle of Savo Island in August 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt personally requested that the name be changed. And so, USS Canberra, CA-70, became the only ship in U.S. Navy history named after a foreign capital, not to honor a place, but to honor a ship and the brave Australian sailors who died aboard her. Launched on the 19th of April, 1943 and commissioned in October, Canberra was a Baltimore-class heavy cruiser, fast, modern, and armed with 9 8-inch guns, along with a formidable array of anti-aircraft weapons. She joined the Pacific Fleet in early 1944, just in time to support the major island-hopping campaigns that pushed ever closer to Japan. Her guns opened fire in the Marianas Campaign, bombarding enemy positions ahead of the landings at Saipan and Guam. She screened aircraft carriers during the Battle of the Philippine Sea, where American pilots shot down over 300 Japanese planes, a clash that became known as the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. By that summer, Canberra was in the thick of the fight, bearing a name, forged in sorrow, but now earning one, in steel and blood. But ahead lay her greatest trial. In October 1944, during operations east of the Philippines, part of the lead-up to Leyte Gulf, Canberra was struck by an aerial torpedo fired from a Japanese aircraft. The weapon hit her starboard side near the engineering spaces, tearing open her hull, flooding boiler rooms, and killing 23 men instantly. Power was lost, steam lines ruptured, the ship lay dead in the water, crippled, but still afloat. USS Canberra had just taken a serious blow. For many ships, that would have marked the end. But not Canberra. Her crew responded with precision and resolve. Damage control teams fought flooding, extinguished fires, and stabilized her condition. Though unable to maneuver or fight, she refused to sink. In the days that followed, she was towed clear of the danger zone. But the battle wasn't over. The U.S. Navy, realizing the strategic situation, made a bold decision. Canberra, along with the similarly crippled light cruiser Houston, formed a special task group known informally as Cripple Division 1. Their purpose, to act as bait, slow, damaged ships made to look like easy targets, luring the Japanese fleet away from the vulnerable invasion beaches at Leyte. The ruse worked. On October 24th, as the massive Battle of Leyte Gulf began to unfold, Japanese surface forces moved toward the crippled cruisers. The bait drew them away from their true objective. Instead of helpless ships, they encountered a well-prepared Allied force. The Japanese never reached the crippled ships. Cripple Division 1 served its purpose by appearing vulnerable and helping to draw Japanese attention. Successfully, the bait force was never directly attacked or intercepted. This diversion helped the U.S. Navy regroup and ultimately contributed to one of the most decisive naval victories in history. Canberra had taken a torpedo, lost her engines, and nearly been sunk. But she had survived and played a critical, silent role in shaping the Pacific War's outcome. After temporary repairs at Ulithi Atoll, Canberra was towed back to the United States for permanent repairs. But by the time she was fully rebuilt, the war had ended. Yet her story wasn't over. In the 1950s, Canberra underwent a major refit. She was converted into a guided missile cruiser, reclassified as CAG-2, and became one of the first American warships equipped with surface-to-air missile launchers in place of her aft gun turrets. She served throughout the early Cold War, representing American naval power, hosting dignitaries, and projecting presence across the globe. And in 1964, she welcomed a guest of honor aboard, Australian Prime Minister Robert Menzies. It was a powerful and fitting tribute to the name she bore. From her hull to her history, Canberra was more than a name. She was a living tribute, a bond between nations. And a survivor, in every sense of the word. In the aftermath of World War II, the ties between Australia and the United States were stronger than ever. Both nations had stood shoulder to shoulder in the Pacific, and their sacrifices had forged an enduring bond. One of the most symbolic gestures of this friendship came in 1956. That year, the United States Navy presented Australia with a special gift, the Canberra Bell. When USS Canberra was decommissioned, her bell was carefully removed and sent across the Pacific. It was given to Australia as a symbol of mutual respect, shared sacrifice, and the deep alliance between two wartime allies. In September 2001, shortly after the 9/11 attacks, US President George W. Bush hosted Australian Prime Minister John Howard at the White House. During this historic meeting, a replica bell from USS Canberra, cast from the original mold, was formally presented again, this time as a reaffirmation of the alliance between the two nations in the 21st century. This was not the same physical bell as the 1956 one, but a new bell made in the spirit of the original, commemorating the continued friendship, especially as both nations prepared for war in Afghanistan. Today, the Canberra Bell rests in the Australian War Memorial, a powerful reminder of the price of war and the friendships that can rise from its ashes. From the gun decks to the bridge, every story we tell honors those who served. If this tale made you feel the salt and steel of history, give it a like, and if you're not yet part of our channel's convoy, subscribe and join the ranks. More powerful stories await.